What's up out there? Welcome back to some more Path of Exile, and we are back with the Righteous Fire build. So in the last video, I was talking about leveling up, which I did. We're at level 94. And if I go in here, I put that point into stamina. Now, if I move this over, well, let's go over here. Continuing on, if I level up any more, it looks like Pox comes off of this large jewel socket, so there'd be level 95 and 96 right there. And then he comes out into some jewels over here. Now, I think he robbed some of the points down here, but I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and relook at the guide. Don't know. I don't know that I'm going to do that. Leveling up this far into this was a grind. It was a real serious grind. Like, I was doing easier delve content and I died, which of course loses a big chunk of progress, more than you want. Like, it took a few hours to get that progress, then I died, and I got to go back through all that progress again. So you either run a lot of low level maps or lower level delve and stuff like that, and it takes a long time, or you try to push content and die and lose progress. So losing progress is a big kick in the nuts, which I really don't want to take very often. It's fine when you're trying to fight a boss or something, or you're trying to beat something and you have like no XP to begin with, but it really sucks when you're really pushing to get that level and then you just die out of the blue for no reason. Everything's cool and then bam, you're just dead for whatever. That sucks. So I don't know if I'm going to keep pushing levels or not. I don't know. We'll see. So anyway, in the last video, I beat the Searing Exarch, and that was because, if I hit the right button, that is because I got the brass dome, I worked that in, I've worked the immortal flesh in, and I've got this nice helmet here, which gives +2 socketed AoE gems, which works great for fire trap. So I got my flash situation worked out. I got all my gear to a point where it's good. Like, I don't have any problems with it. Now, I had worked up a scepter, and in the last video, somebody was saying, why didn't you just go into Trade League and buy something? You can buy them pretty cheap. The point there, I know the scepter that I had in the last video wasn't as good as it could be, but it was better than what I had before, and it showed better damage numbers than what I had before. In the time since then, I've worked up this. I actually crafted this myself. This is +1 level of all fire spell skill gems with some fire dot multi. I don't think the increased attack speed matters, but then I bench crafted 58% increased fire damage and 19% chance to ignite. So this is much better than what I had before, and this is what I'm supposed to have. So now I have +3 fire trap and +1 to righteous fire because it's this, this is what it's got. But like, I crafted that. So why I don't go and just pay for something off the store is because I built that, and I have the satisfaction of finding these items myself and crafting the stuff that needs crafted. Like, I found this helmet and I made it work into here. I crafted this. Like, if I just went and bought something, I'd go grind it out, and maybe it fits, maybe it doesn't. Maybe I didn't understand something, in the way that the build was supposed to be done, and I bought the wrong thing. At least with this, I'm learning it and crafting it and getting an idea of what I'm doing. So that's why I don't do Trade League. I don't care. In fact, I've mentioned it before, but I am going to do solo self-found on the next league, which the next league is in the middle of December. I'm still enjoying this league. I see other people are getting bored and quitting, or they've met all their goals and they've quit out. I'm still enjoying it. I'm still having a good time. I'll be playing this for a while. Although I do think I do want to take a break. I'm kind of getting burned out on playing. I've been getting burned out on Righteous Fire because, number one, I hit a brick wall. Now that I've got all this gear in place, that brick wall is kind of gone. But I did hit a brick wall for a little while, and kind of running the same content over and over again is getting boring. But we'll get into something here in a second. That's changing too. So in the last video, I talked about having this elemental weakness. Now there's 2 pieces of information that got brought together for me in a comment from the last video. So there was somewhere I was reading in Pox's guide, whether it was on the website or in the POB or something, he was talking about a specific ring, and it was supposed to up your DPS. And I didn't understand how that was supposed to work. I tried it. It didn't seem to do anything. I ran a couple maps with it. It didn't seem to do anything at all. In fact, it lowered my weaknesses because I had to incorporate it in, and it didn't work. And then I took it out, went back to what I was doing, and kept moving on. Then like a week or so later, I was looking at the guide again, going through the POB, checking to make sure that all my gems were in the right thing. And I found that I had an extra gem that I didn't need. I also found that I was missing the elemental weakness. So I threw that on there, and then I was running it, and it looked to me like I would throw flammability and elemental weakness, but it would only do one or the other. And it would only show the icon for the last one that the enemy got hit with. And I thought, well, it looks like it's going one or the other. And then I looked online and people were saying, no, it stacks, you're good. I'm like, okay, well, but it didn't seem like it. And then I got that comment in the last video that said, it stacks, but you have to have an item that lets it stack. Something to that effect. And whoever you are, I appreciate that very much, because I saw that comment and I thought, oh my God, I know exactly what that means. I had to go dig around through my stash, but that was talking about this ring, which is what this was like a couple weeks ago. This is that ring I tried and I couldn't get it to do anything. If you read the last line on here, it says, or the last blue line, it says you can apply an additional curse. And I didn't know what that meant. At the time, I thought, well, it just lets me cast flammability twice on things. And like I said, when I tried it, it didn't really do anything, but I didn't have the elemental weakness in place. So I didn't have two different curses. I had one curse that I was trying to use twice, which now that I understand how all this works, I get it. I get it. Experience has taught me now. So with that comment that brought these two together, that means that I can cast flammability and elemental curse, and you can see both icons above the monsters. So that was huge. Now, I don't know if you can get that affix on any other gear, like can you craft it on something, or is it just on this unique item? I don't know. But I happen to have this, so I equip that, and now I can cast both curses, and it's that much more damage. So I thought that was awesome. And with the fact that with this new scepter that I have and this here, I went in and took on Eater of Worlds. So if I go into the mapping section, take me off, I now have a second Void Stone. So I have beaten Exarch and Eater, both of them. And I've still got some more work to do. We've got the Maven and we've got the Elder and the Shaper's Realm and all that. So I've still got that stuff to do. Work on all that later. Like I said, I kind of get a little bit burned out on playing because I keep doing the same maps. Like, you know, you can only do Silo, Infested Valley, and Channel Map like so many times. And I can't remember if it was Spider Forest or Phantasmagoria there were 4 of these that were tier 16. But I've also figured out how this Voidstone stuff works now. Again, this wasn't making sense to me until I actually looked at it and digested it. But what the Void Stones do is they elevate all your maps. So these are tier 16. Silo was always tier 16. But until I put a Void Stone in, Mudgeyser was tier 15. So now it's tier 16. Now, the interesting thing, I thought, I wasn't quite sure how this worked. I'll use this arena map for an example. So this is a tier 1 map. These are still tier 1s. Because I socketed those Void Stones does not change what these maps are currently. However, when I find new versions of that, and this is what I didn't catch until I was getting ready to do this video, I happened to click on tier 4 and notice that arena maps here are tier 4. So there's tier 1 and there's tier 4. So when I find new maps, and on the opposite end of the spectrum, if I go over here, Mudgeyser is tier 16, but I also have tier 15 versions of Mudgeyser right here. These were the ones that I was finding all along, but now that I've socketed that Void Stone in, I'm starting to get, or those 2 Void Stones now, I'm starting to get level 16 or map tier 16. So that's kind of cool to see how all that works. So these are still level 1s. So level one is level 1, but as you start raising all of them up, it raises them up to the next, until they're all, Arena will show up in tier 16. I think all of these get elevated to tier 16 maps at some point. So anyway, I thought that was very cool. This is starting to, I briefly touched on a little bit of burnout and stuff earlier, at least I think I did. I kind of got tired of running the same maps over and over and over and over again. But as you bring these Void Stones in, it brings in more maps to run. So that kind of brings me to like having this stuff. I might want to go back into Shaping the Skies or something like that. Maybe I want to go back into this. I'm still working on the scouting reports, but I probably do want to come back into these And maybe I could pull, I don't know, I'm gonna have to think about it, but maybe I could pull out, maybe I'll leave the Conquerors. But now that I've done with the Eater of Worlds, I might back off on those. I kept these because these give you a chance to drop an item with the implicit on it. So I was trying to gather items for that. And that's why I went into here and the Shaper and Elder, Conquerors. I kind of worked on the Searing Exarch for a little bit. I went into the Synthesis, but I took those out. So that's kind of why I went into these, because now this was getting bigger monster packs, but these were giving chance. Now this is bigger monster packs, but this one was like giving chance to get the items with the Eater stuff. So that's why I went into that. Now that I've beaten the Eater, maybe I'll back this off and maybe I'll redo these so I'm getting more maps, because I definitely want to get more maps. So it might make more sense to pull out of the Eater stuff and go into the mapping, Shaping the World, Shaping the Mountain. I think that was, what was the other one over here? Where was that at? Here and here, Shaping the Mountains. So I'd need 3 there, 4 here. So I'd need to take 7, which 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so I could redo a few more things. I have to look, see what else I'd want to take. But everything's going well. I've beaten the Eater. With all this new gear and all this new setup, it's really kind of reinvigorated me wanting to play more Righteous Fire, because I hit a brick wall for a little bit, and there's 2 things that I think I need to resolve. Number 1 is my movement speed. Like, that's how fast I move. I can shield charge, and that's better, but it's still fairly slow. The other thing that I know is a limitation is the amount of life. I only have a little less than 4,000 life. I know that needs to be bumped up. I just don't know how to get it incorporated in, because I need like my resistances or regen or stuff like that. This one doesn't, these boots don't even have any more room to put anything. I've taken a ring that does, this adds 20% all resistances, but I don't have any way of adding anything to this unique item. And like, I've added life here, but this is a unique item. This is a unique item. So I'm kind of running out of places to put life. So I'm gonna have to figure that out at some point. There is I don't remember where it's at on here, but there is something you can take that I saw Pox had, which if you don't have life on any of your gear, you get a boost to life. But like, I have +9 max life on here, and I don't know how that works with Immortal Flesh, because this one does have max life. So I'm not sure. And this one I could change off, but I'm not sure. I'm going to have to look at that passive and see how that works. But, and the other thing I will say is I started off a tornado shot build. We'll do a video for that one, but I was wanting to do a bow build. I'm like in the mid 50s on that. So I'm not quite level to equip this on, but I did get a bow build started. I wanted to try one to see how it went. And so I went with tornado shot and just trying to tinker around, spend some time with it. As I do things with this and get tired of playing this, I go work on either SRS or now this tornado shot. I'm kind of enjoying trying the different ones out. But that is where we are, and going to be trying to go forward. I still need to finish off, I don't know, whatever else. I don't know how much of this Eater stuff or Exarch that I need to do. I definitely need to do the Maven stuff and then the Elder. I got to figure out how to get to that fight. So I don't know. I guess I'll continue on with the Maven stuff, because I need to do all tier 14 and higher, which now that we have, now that these maps can be, like Pit Map is tier 14 now. So as long as I can find versions of that are tier 14 and higher, that'll be easy. That gives me a nice variety of stuff to try through. So now I'm not hitting as much of a brick wall. I've got a more capable character, and I'm fighting on a lot more different maps that are, it's not the same crappy maps over and over again. I'm not bored with them. I now have more maps to try because more maps are elevated up into higher tiers. So anyway, I don't know. That will do it for this video. A lot of great progress. I'm happy where I'm at, and we will catch you on the next one. Take care.